Hey guys, this is Kayla with Kay Let Me Talk. Here with me, I have Doug Austin and Dick Gallegos. It's an honor to have you guys here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
I know that you have been such an inspiration and a light in prison ministry and so many other things. So, yeah, it's an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I will have Doug take over from here.
All right. And thank you for having, thank you for doing this for us, because one of the things is Dick has been such a great inspiration to me. I mean, I wouldn't be here without this man here. I mean, he has brought Christ into my life. I love what he used to say is I bring church. He brought church into the prison. And I mean, he's just been, there are so many people that owe you gratitude. And there's a bunch of people that want to be here and talk with you too. All right. And I just want to let you know that, we are grateful. All the men in blue, you know what I mean by that,
Yeah.
are grateful for the contributions that you have done out there for the Idaho Department of Corrections. Now, with that said, we're just going to sit here and we're just going to talk. And one of the things I'd love you to tell us, how did you get into prison ministry? How did that all start?
How I started it was I made, I grew up in Fort Collins, Colorado. From there I went to California. I met my wife there. I spent 20 years there. We had 6 children. I loved Colorado so much because of the snow and the few seasons. But I took and one day asked my wife if she would take and move out of Los Angeles. She finally agreed. I flew up here, found a house, and then I went back, sold my house down there, and then we put the kids in the car and we headed to Boise, Idaho. When I got here, things were looking real good as far as work goes. And so consequently, in that period of time, I had the inclination to take and go someplace, and that was what came up was the prison ministry. So I went out to the yard, and at that time they didn't have a chapel. And so we said the rosary on Sunday night in a classroom. Then after that, after a while, things got really slow here in Boise, work-wise and everything. So I had to cut everything, stop everything. In order to work, I had to go to Nevada and I did that for 2 years. After 2 years, when I got back, things started to pick up here in Boise. So I was able to start working, and I was able to buy a small construction company with a partner of mine.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I've done a lot of construction here in Boise. Yes, so consequently, everything started to pick back and went to normal. It was normal. Okay, and then when everything was normal, I decided to go back into the prison ministry. So I went back into the prison ministry, and when I first started, I wanted to go someplace. It was at the yard when I started. I wanted to go someplace where a lot of people really was intimidated by maximum security. So that's where I wanted to go.
Oh, so you went to Max?
So I went to Max.
Okay.
When I got to Max, my partner was Don Mathern, and I was saying community service with him. I was just following him. And about a month or so afterwards, the guys would come up and they'd be real ruly. And so one night I was just sitting there while Don was giving us a service, And I said to myself, you know, I don't need this. I quit.
Oh.
I quit. I don't, no mas, no more. So on my way home, okay, at that time I never had any spiritual books, but what I did have was my Bible, okay? And when I got home the next morning, what I used to do normally was just take that Bible and open it up, and wherever my fingers hit, was the story for the day for me.
Mm-hmm.
This particular morning, I did the identical thing. And it fell on Matthew 25, where it says, the Lord separating the sheep from the goats. I read that, and them letters, they just didn't sit on, they just like elevated. And when they did that, something happened inside of me that I started developing a relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
At that time also I had a pamphlet or a small book of Mother Teresa. And when I read that, and the love that she had for people in the slums. So I went, and after I read all of that, one of the things that stood out, that her and her nuns, they would go into the slums, and these people were so poor, some were so dilapidated, so she had such a love for everybody that when she looked into their face, all she could see was Jesus's face in these individuals. So her and her nuns would pick these people up, put them on their car, take them back to the convent. There she would clean them up, and from there, a lot of them died, and I don't know how many, but anyhow, they died with dignity. They were all. So after I read that, it changed my attitude. Prior to that, I had a different attitude about inmates, about prison ministry, prisoners, especially the guys that killed somebody. After I read all of that, I went back out, and my attitude changed. And why? Is because I looked at these guys different. I looked at all these guys with respect. I looked at these guys, they made a lot of mistakes, and then I looked at myself and I said, hell, I made a lot of mistakes myself. Who do I think I am? So, consequently, my attitude changed there. And I started seeing all of the inmates, treating them with respect. Human beings, just like, we are all children of Almighty God. That was the beginning. After that, every Monday night I was out there for 2 years. Sometimes I would go by myself. I'd be serving about 16 guys came up, and it was 2 years. After 2 years, the private prison was built out there. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. ISCI.
And I can't remember who asked me. They asked me if I could go over there and help recruit people, volunteers for that. I didn't know the first thing about how to recruit people, but I met a nun, and she says, we were talking about it. She said, why don't you go to Napa? They have a prayer meeting on Tuesday night. So I did, went, at the prayer meeting, and I got to talk to a couple of guys, and I'll be darned if a couple of guys never decided to come with me. I made it a point that services were on Sunday. That's the day of church. So that's it started, and eventually we wound up with about 10 wonderful people, volunteers. And then the women's writer program started. They asked me if I would go over there and start that up. So I went over there and I started that one up. Volunteers. And then from there, I went to the farm. After this was, both of them are going, then I went to the farm, and they had a dilapidated,
That old trailer.
I'm sorry?
That old trailer they had out there.
They had a dilapidated old trailer out there.
Yeah.
So as times went on, while I was there, the churches that were going there, they pulled together the dollars, even so much as the Catholic Church, and they bought a double wide, set it out there, and they wanted it to be a beautiful little chapel. So at that time, I turned around, and when that was done, then I went back to the yard. When I went back to the yard, it was on Tuesday night. I walked in there, I couldn't, the Catholic Church had 2 hours on Tuesday night. 1 hour's worth was with volunteers. The second hour was supposed to be Bible studies, but it didn't seem like a Bible study to me, so I went to the powers that be and I told them I want to take a stop out there Tuesday night, and we're going to start Sunday night at 6 o'clock, and we're going to have Mass at 6 o'clock. And the first hour, the second hour, we're going to have Bible studies, okay? So that came about. I felt like I wanted to take and send this prison ministry re-entry throughout the whole state. So I started traveling to every facilities, from Pocatello, women's prisons, to Cottonwood, Orofino, work release centers, juvenile centers, everything.
So that is where the idea of the reentry program came?
No.
Or no, this is just you spreading the church throughout all the Department of Corrections,
All the
all the prisons?
All the prisons.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I remember that day where we were switched from Tuesday to
Yes.
Sunday. And one of the most awesome things, a good friend of ours and kind of my mentor also, along with you, Tim McGuire.
Oh.
And that was the first time, he said, for years, it's the first time he ever celebrated Easter Sunday.
I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember him saying that.
Yeah, it was the first time he ever, yeah. And that was so special to us.
So every place that I went,
Yeah.
Mass church was on Sunday at 6 o'clock. That's what I started. Some places, they had already had their rhythm going, and I couldn't change it. So I just let it be. So visiting all of the facilities, my sweetheart daughter, she's the one that had graduated from college, and she helped me. We decided that I have 2 sons that are in business for themselves, and they have employees that work at home. So consequently, we were able to get a software from them to be able to take and utilize it for her and I. So that way we were able to communicate with the whole state of Idaho in every location. I'd wake up in the morning, and if there was emails, I would go through them, call her. She would get on the computer and I would take, and I would relay the message on what I wanted to get done, and she would just, and said it out loud. When we put this all together, right, we had well over 100 volunteers throughout the whole state in every facilities, communicate with Boise, the diocese here, okay? And then I got a hold of Dismas, okay? They are the one that gave us all the Bibles. The old Catholic blue books, you remember that?
The prayer books, yes.
Your prayer books.
Yeah.
And do you remember the picture that I gave of the Blessed Mother and the Sacred Heart of Jesus? Do you remember that one?
Oh, yes, very well. I still have it.
I probably printed off thousands of that one, and every time I went out to the yard, I just left it there on the benches so you guys could take what you wanted with it. So I had a real good relationship with Dismas back in Milwaukee. I flew back there and talked with them, and they were so excited about sending me stuff. So that's where all the material came for inside the penitentiary. So the question that you asked was,
you know, the start of the education part here, and you talked about that. You know, I only knew a small part, and that was Catholic Inquiry, and then also starting the Bible studies out there and everything else.
Yes.
But you know, the involvement with Dismas, I forgot all about that. The little prayer book for inmates, Catholic prayer book for inmates. Yeah.
I don't know how many they sent me, but I just had a ton of them. I just kept giving them out.
Well, I remember they used to all sit there in that pew, that front pew, along with all those rosaries too. And that was amazing things you did, you know, collecting all those rosaries.
And how to say the rosaries.
Yeah.
There was no excuse for you guys. You better get with it or else I'm gonna stop everything.
Another thing that you did while I was out there, and by the way, thank you, because I don't know if you remember, you are my sponsor too. You're the one that sponsored me into the Catholic Church, remember? Yeah, that was a special moment for me, and yeah, you still slap me around, I know. But one thing you shared with me while I was in there, and you had this, and you were so proud of this manual, and it was the rescue manual. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where we started talking about the re-entry program.
That's when we started.
Yeah.
That's when we started the re-entry. Well, it always had been in my back of my mind when I first started everything. The best way to have my goal was always to help the inmates on the inside when they came out, and with me it was. One of the best things was having inmates helping inmates, because they know how they thought. They know what they were going through. So if that was the case, then I went to Mike Gallegos, my dear friend, and I asked him, Mike, we need to do something to help these guys when they come out. Mike was president of a conference for St. Vincent de Paul. So so that's what there was, a beginning conference of the prison ministry with St. Vincent de Paul. It happened that now that these guys, when they came out, how do we keep in contact with them? Well, a hotline was made. When you come out, you call that line, and the prison minister, the entry would get a hold of two guys and send it to you and give you your needs: clothing, food, children's clothing, everything for so that's how the re-entry start. And I met a real neat guy at Max. His name was Mike Rennick. Mike Rennick really latched on to the re-entry, and he's been doing such a marvelous job. I heard this, but I don't know how true it is, but I'm sure it's almost true, that the prison ministry in Boise, Idaho, the diocese of Boise, is probably one of the best prison ministry in the state, even in the country. So Mark Rennick is the one who is in charge. They're going to send him with all the information back to the main place in St. Vincent de Paul, back east. I thought, wow. So I could just keep seeing how it's growing. Okay? As of right now, we got wonderful volunteers over there, and that re-entry is just exploded and just going like crazy right now. So, but it was guys like Doug here and Mark that took and helped and knew how to help the guys that were coming out. So that made my life easier.
Well, I'll tell you what, it really blossomed. I mean, you know, starting with St. Vincent de Paul, and then it reached back in by creating, I can't remember the name, I think it's called City of Lights or something like that, inside the prison itself, where it was a resource center for guys like myself who were preparing to get out. We go over there, we find halfway houses, we find all this stuff is listed,
Yeah.
but it all came from the seed that you planted, which was starting the re-entry out here.
That's what I wanted to do. I went, and I mean, when you mentioned that, I couldn't remember where I went to find that. I really don't remember where to find it, but I knew that there was all these places that you could go to.
Mm-hmm.
So I just picked it up, and here you are.
Yeah, because in that manual, they had a list of food pantries, place to get housing vouchers, all that stuff. It was all listed right there, and it's like,
My daughter put that together.
oh yeah.
Teresa did.
Uh-huh.
Matter of fact, when we were talking the other day, she couldn't figure out where she put that at. So, but she's the one that put that together.
Mm-hmm.
She had a lot of talent, which I was very grateful for. So that's how, and then afterwards, I didn't think that was necessary anymore. Maybe it is, but now when these guys came out, now they had the opportunity to meet face to face with guys that went inside, that visit with the guys that came out, to be able to know exactly where to take with it. Mm-hmm. I think one of the neatest thing was, most important was bicycle, clothing, food, things that was really important for these guys. And then we were able to take and get some people that would take and make accessories for shampoos for women, toothbrushes, hair, whatever. Nice little pouches.
Are you talking about the hygiene bags?
The hygiene packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot all about those.
Yep.
Yeah.
We made them up, and then whenever there was a gal or somebody, especially the women, here it was. They could take it home, and there were all the little goodies to get them started with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was the little things like that took and helped these guys and the ladies when they came out.
One of the things I want to say that I really appreciated, and you know, because I don't know if it was a byproduct of what you guys did, but I'll tell you what, and it happens with every man who has been, and I'm going to say catechized or whatever, or educated in the Catholic faith in prison. And here's the wonderful thing about that, is that when we came out and we started attending church services, man, we knew everything that was happening. We knew every prayer, we knew every stand, sit, whatever, you know, as I call Catholics, calisthenics. But, you know, we knew exactly everything. And so what happens is that, I don't know if this would happen for me, I walked in, I remember coming into St. Mark's, my first mass, I was home.
Yeah.
I was comfortable, you
Yes.
know? It wasn't like I was looking for anyone. I knew that
Right
it was
off.
Jesus right there on the altar. I understood everything.
Everything.
Right. And that's all because of, I'm sorry, to me, this is the funniest thing I've ever, I always remember you doing this, going up and down the aisles of the chapel with everybody has a missalette, and if you weren't paying attention, you would come over and go, we're on number 5, or we're on number 2. You know, and you would just walk the aisles and just make sure everybody was right.
We were
in.
very fortunate that I was able to find a place out of California that had missals that were in English and in Spanish. Okay, so consequently, if I went into, like, for example, Canyon County, it was all Spanish and English because that's all they were in, there was Hispanics. So we'd open up and I would take and have them, I would get guys to be able to read the readings,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would take and read the gospel, and then it had a reflection. It was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was very, very good.
I mean, yeah, because the educational component of that was excellent, by far the best.
One thing I have to just stop for a minute,
Uh-huh.
and one thing that was really beneficial for all you guys out there, number one, was Father Camacho.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He was the leader of the parade. His masses, his homilies, da-da, da-da, da-da. Then come along Father O'Sullivan,
Yes.
da-dum, 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 with authority from the church that was played on each and every one of you guys. And then lastly was my sweetheart, Sister Elena.
Yes.
Right now, she's about 100 years old, and she's just, I'd be surprised if one day I'm gonna get a call saying that she passed away. She's up in Godwin right now. But she was the sweetheart. She spent 34 years in Bogota,
Bogota, Colombia.
Colombia,
Yep.
at the time that Escobar was there. And she could tell stories of all. The Holy Spirit really had to be living with her to take care of her. The story well, anyhow, she was an angel. She was just my inspiration.
Armed with galoshes and an accordion.
That accordion,
Of
accordion.
the Alves.
The accordion she had was as big as her. It was that big.
You had to pull it out of the box for her.
She was, so anyhow, that was a very inspiration, all three of them.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so, you know, I did a lot kind of directly, but it was them that did a lot of this. So, anything else from the reentry did you think of?
No, you know, because that was so helpful for a lot of us to know that there was somebody waiting for us. I mean, you guys, the reentry program arranged rides for us, you know, especially for guys like me who are not from Idaho at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, being able to, wow, how am I gonna get out of here? You know what, I got a date, how am I gonna get out of this place, you know? But there was someone there, you know, a ride, and
My question to you, when you got out and what we were doing on the outside, did you feel comfortable with it? How about other inmates, did they feel comfortable with it? Was it the right thing we did?
it was the right thing you did,
Okay.
seriously. By far, you know, a lot of us, you know, because of circumstances, may not have our families involved
okay.
or anything like that. And what I loved about the church and what I loved about what you guys did was you stepped in to help us at our toughest moments. And, you know, you would think that, oh, you got a date, you're ready to go home, blah, blah, blah. That's the biggest moment of your life, that's the brightest moment of your life, but then also becomes with all kinds of uncertainty.
Yes.
And then you have this friendly face that comes and picks you up. Then all you gotta do is make a phone call, and you got 2 other people coming by, and and working with you and working through stuff. I was blessed with Jorge. Jorge took me around, got my social security, got
Yeah.
all that stuff done for me, and didn't ask a thing.
Yeah.
Didn't ask a thing. It was just, straight out of love. And that's what happens, that's what's happening with St. Vincent de Paul and the reentry program, is that you guys are doing these things at no cost to us, but just straight out of love.
Yeah.
And
Well,
helping
that's
us
the
get something
intention.
done. Yeah. So,
Now, I think the reentry is pretty well covered.
so what's next? What do you think is next? What is Dick's dream?
My next dream is the church that we're building,
The church, you mean the house?
the house.
The house we're building.
I keep forgetting the name of it.
Holy Family.
Holy Family House. That is the next thing on the agenda. And when I look at it, 2 people that I know that really, well, I guess I should say 3. Teresa, my daughter, was the one that helped me, number 1. Number 2, for the reentry was Mark Rennick. And now it's you. Okay? Now it's your vision to go with it. So consequently, you remind me a lot of me many years ago. I'm running out of gas. I just can't keep up hardly anymore. But you got a lot of energy in you right now to start this. And it is, you'll be surprised how he brings thoughts to you for each move. Okay, all you gotta sit back and let him run it. And it just automatically comes out with the ideas how to continue one day at a time. So that's the next move, to be able to, you guys on the inside, when they have wives on the outside, if you can get them 2 together, and them 2 have children, and if you could take and get all 3 together and make a happy home for them, that's the ultimate. A church that they go to, people who love them. I was many years in Ada County Jail, visiting inmates, bringing in material to read. I used to see some of the beautiful girls, young girls in there, and my mouth just fell to the floor. Full of tattoos, and they were probably, when they got incarcerated, they were under the influence. So being under the influence, of course, their mindset was to steal to get more for this. So that always, now that you're going to start this, that will be the combination of everything. You know what I'm saying? All put together. And it's all, and the whole thing, all of it, years after years, talk after talk, it's all about love. Period. He wants us to love everybody, no matter who it is, no matter what you look like, no matter where you've been. He wants us, everybody, to love everybody. And I made a statement one time, if everybody in the pen would take and get on their knees and say one Our Father a day, can you imagine what happened to that pen out there?
Mm-hmm. It'd be powerful.
One or other. Every day in the morning, they all got up, got on their knees, thanked the good Lord, and said, "One Our Father," for that day. I can't imagine the repercussion of that. Oh, I can. Oh, I can. So, right now, in my lifetime, everything is about love, family, wife, children, kids. So, Doug, you got some work ahead of you.
It sounds like I do. I got big shoes to fill, I'll tell you that much. I mean, everything that you've done, just
I'm telling you, it will come about.
mm-hmm.
It will come about if you just let go and do. Let go and do.
Let go and let God, let do.
Let Him lead you.
All right. Well, you know what? Thank you for coming in and sharing your story with us. No, seriously, man. You know, this is part of my dream to be able to sit down, talk with you, get it recorded, everything else. This is awesome. This was awesome. You didn't have to read a thing, did you? No, you did. All right, and man, again, I'm just one person, but I represent a grip of men
Oh,
out there in the prison
I know
who
you do.
appreciate everything you have done from the beginning to now. You continue to inspire us. You continue to encourage us. You know, you say you don't have enough gas, you got plenty of gas. You got plenty, because you're lifting all of us up. All right? Each and every day when we think about why we're doing this, whether you're there or not, why are we here having these meetings? Why are we going through all this? Is to hold up your legacy. Because this is your legacy. I mean, you know, from the beginning, the start of the prison ministry, to the start of a home in which men and women and children can possibly
go through it.
right.
Just go through it.
Yeah.
And get mommy and daddy together.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll work.
Okay. Well, thank you again, and I appreciate everything you've done, man. Come on.
It's always a pleasure. You know that, Doug.